Hello Minecrafters, this is Armagedon on the MindCrack fan server. You might remember from our last episode here that we showed off this little contraption. Well, I've been doing a lot of harvesting, and so this thing isn't quite cutting it. It's quite slow. It takes quite a long time to switch to any block. You gotta wait for the water gun to come down, and you have to switch between your tools and blocks because you have to do it one by one. So, inspired by the last Ethos Lab episode, which if for some reason you don't know who that is and you still have found me first, that's just weird. Go and watch all of Ethos' videos right from the very beginning. You won't be sorry, but at any rate, on his last video he showed pretty much from this perspective the ability to continually make the blocks. Oop, I guess it helps if I turn it on. And without actually having to stop. One block at a time. Alright, this way of generating is actually very fast, but unfortunately he had not given any sort of tutorial or anything to be able to actually do this. You just kind of saw the one little shot and the sequence of him actually using it. So I kind of went ahead and reverse engineered from what I saw in the screen this system. There's basically two different ways, there are two primary ways that the basic system was set up. There was a more vertical one which Etho used and a horizontal one that I've used, but other than the basic layout for the monostable switch, this is primarily the same system. Really, all you have to do for each one of these ones for the actual usage is you choose your block. In this case, I've just set it up with a little display here showing what you do for the stone slabs as well as the wool, but you can convert a few other things such as the double half slabs, as well as you can even go through different types of woods. But I'm not too worried about those, other than maybe that one smooth stone double slab. But I just know it's the last switch in here. So, at any rate, you choose your block. We'll go with the crack this time. Put down your block and a torch on top of it, and everything is handled before. You just rinse and repeat, and you can go as long as you want. The particular setup that I have set up right now, it's actually only has a large enough space here to do about 40 or so at a time. Then you have to stop and break your blocks, but it's more than enough to keep going without having to switch back and forth through all your tools. I'm going to go through this system as a little bit more of a high-level redstone tutorial, not a full tutorial on actually how to build. If people really want a full tutorial on here, just let me know, and I'm sure I can be convinced to actually do one. But for now, I'm just going to go through each of the circuits and show what actually is going on in here. And in doing so, you should be able to take these screenshots or this video and just pause it and reproduce this entire project in fairly easily. But that being said, I'm going to start with one piece at a time. I've turned off the water so it won't immediately switch the stuff, but basically what happens in here is there's one sticky piston here at the very bottom which actually does the changing of the damage value that is on a block. So this system doesn't actually change your the actual block itself, it just changes the damage value associated with it. So the damage value is changed by the length of water that actually interrupts the system when you actually put a torch here and then the water breaks it. So you start off with this block on top of the sticky piston with your torch on top. This torch basically starts the entire system here. It powers this piston right here, which is also a sticky piston. This one goes over top of a redstone torch, starting all the redstone over here. It gets inverted for this piston right here, which is a regular piston. This is the piston that is used to stop the water flow, so it doesn't pour out all over the place in between block switches. and this piston right here, which is part of the system to push all the blocks out into that little snake chain. This is a regular piston as well. So those two are turned off at the very beginning, just so they're out of the way. And normally you would have the water come down here immediately and go past the piston and knock it out and invert the signal once again, but I'll continue on here when it's all powered up. The power then goes down to this circuit right here. These two pistons are both sticky piston, and this is a setup to create the monostable power source that powers that first sticky piston in the middle. And what a monostable source does is it primarily just puts out a very quick pulse of redstone power. In fact, it's so quick it won't even show a graphic on here. You'll just see what looks like a dead line down here, but it will actually be getting a quick pulse. But when a sticky piston receives a monostable pulse, it will push out the block that's on top of it, but won't actually retract it. And that is actually the thing that will end up swapping the damage value. So for these pieces here, you have the redstone that comes up between powering both at the exact same time. You have to make sure that you don't have any other redstone around either one of these ones that could possibly power them at slightly different speeds. So if you actually ran your redstone across here, you would probably get a false positive. This system is very touchy on its location. You can have issues with it around chunk borders and also the orientation. But generally speaking, the only thing you have to worry about for your orientation is these two pistons. If you'll know that these pistons are actually set up wrong is if you go and put down your block and your torch, and this immediately presses out without actually needing the water source to come down and knock out the torch. It just quickly hits it off without you being able to stay in this view where you see right here. That is usually the problem, is you just have to rotate these ones. When I first set this one up in this location, I had them sitting out this way, so the pistons were both facing this direction, and that was causing that problem that I was noting there. So I just turned it 90 degrees and it works fine now. The strange thing is the old system that I had down here, they are actually oriented this way. So it's not necessarily a always north, always south, east, west, so to speak. You'll have to build it one way. If it doesn't work, then you'll have to rotate it. So to be able to get the monostable switch in here, there is a redstone torch underneath here. You can just kind of see the very bottom of it right there. That powers this block, which in turn powers this dot, and there is the line of redstone all the way down here and into the piston. When these get retracted, when the redstone torch gets knocked out, they retract both at the exact same time. And in doing so, it breaks the signal here that's powering the dot, but dropping this one out, allowing the power to go down the line. So for the split millisecond of time that this redstone dot still has power, it'll have room to go down and connect to this thing, but at that same time it loses the power from here. So that's how you get the monostable switch. From this piece, as part of the block swapper spider chain thing here, this is the redstone power you have to pull from here to get the sticky piston here to pull blocks over. So there's just a 1 delay on here. You need a little bit of delay here so that the pistons aren't trying to interfere with each other. So that is the primary difference, or the primary wiring for this system. I'll just show you what happens when it unpowers. I'll do it without the water source here. So normally the water source would come through, knock out this piston, and what happens is, because this piston retracts, you can see here, these guys both gain power and it blocks off the water source that would be here. This guy gets pressed off, but first this piston retracts, the sticky piston retracts, pulling the block that was here over one, and then it gives this regular piston a chance to push it out, and then it'll continue on the chain out here. The next set here is the water source. You need a 7-block water source. This last one you can just kind of ignore. I was just doing it for testing purposes. This last one doesn't do actually anything because the water source isn't long enough to actually hit the torch or the torch here and start the system. But at any rate, you need a water channel all the way down here with the I'll go from out here so you can see the full thing. On this very, very top level here, we have water sources all the way across. The next layer is a set of regular pistons all the way across. And then under here is just a block with your switches on top of it. When all your switches are powered on, like you see right now, all the pistons on top of them will be held out. If you drop one, we'll drop this third one, it will retract and it'll cause the water to drop out and then flow 3 blocks up to here. So you just need to be able to drop from 1 to 7, and each one of these ones will have just a single an incremental spot to open and fall out. You can also do this with a single water source at the very end. I just chose to do source blocks on each one. Okay, that is the primary redstone wiring you need to be able to actually build this guy. It was a really quick piece, and like I said, if you want a full tutorial, I will be more than happy to do it, but we'll find out if anyone actually needs to see a full tutorial first. The last thing I'll do just before leaving here is mention this circuit here. This is part of the way of being able to snake in many lines without having to have the 12 block limitation that you normally have for pressing or pushing out blocks. So really what happens is the blocks get pushed out in here, and then as soon as it hits the very end here, it'll turn around the corner, and then I got 12 blocks away, I have another one, and then 12 blocks away, I have another one. You can really do this for as many times as you care to do, for as long as you have room for, basically. And the way that it works is underneath the corner that you need to press it, you have a torch. Next to that, raised up 1, is your 1 redstone dot. So when the block comes across here, it will, without glitch here, well, it happens a little bit too fast to be able to see the light here light up, but the torch powers the block, which then powers this redstone dot, which powers this block, which then forces the piston to go out, which then kills the power. So it's about as simple as you can get with just 1 torch and 1 redstone in the piston, and you have yourself a full snake. Alright, I'll leave you all with this, and if there's any other questions, feel free to message me or put a comment in this video, and we'll see you all in the next video. Bye!